Okay. Okay, then honestly, for now, I'm just gonna say like jump into like our class schedule and then like the homework, just do like what our class does, and then I'll kind of just like see how you do, and then we can work on it from there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, for sure. Okay. So we can go ahead and get started. So let me share my screen. Do you have a HackerRank account, by the way?
Do I have a what?
A HackerRank account? Um,
No, I don't.
okay. Well, we can do that like during break time. It's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so this is our class schedule for today. So first we're gonna review the homework from last class. Christian, just try to like follow along. Obviously you haven't done it, it's okay. And then the new content for today, there's honestly not that much. I'm gonna ask you guys about the practice it in just a second, and then we're just gonna learn about array lists, which is important because you need to know about array lists in order to do the hacker rank problems, right? So like I said in last class, we're gonna start doing more hacker rank problems like in class, and then I'm gonna start assigning more coding bat problems for homework, right? And all the hacker rank problems use array lists, so it's gonna be important for you guys to know how to use them. So we'll cover array lists. You guys will do hacker rank problems for pretty much like most of class. And then if you guys happen to finish early, right, we'll do some extra coding map problems. And then your homework for today will just be like more coding map problems. No practice of problems though, you know, for this week. Okay, so we'll start with Bryce. Um, how much of the homework did you manage to get done?
I did all of it.
Oh, including the practice it?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Did you have any like questions on like any specific problems or were you good?
No. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Brian, what about you?
I finished the practice it.
Like all of it?
Um, uh, I think so.
Okay.
And I finished array one, but I didn't,
Uh-huh.
but I
But you did
didn't,
not, you didn't do the strings.
yeah.
Okay. Perfect. That's actually okay because my plan was to go over the coding back problems together as a class. So let me share this. Okay, so I won't go over the practice it questions unless you guys have any specific questions because that would take a really long time. So let's just go over the six coding back questions together for homework. So we'll start with the strings. So up to right two. So let's see. Okay, so non-start, left two, and right two. So hang on. Okay. So actually, we'll kind of just go in order on my screen. So Christian, you'll help me with non-start. Bryce, you'll help me with um left two, and then Brian, you'll help me with right two. Okay. So it's okay if you haven't coded this for homework, right? Like we'll work through this together. Okay, non-start. So given two strings, return their concatenation, except omit the first character of each one. So, okay. Okay, so Christian, why don't you go ahead and get me started here? Or tell me what you're thinking.
Wait, do I just say what I got?
Well, you should like essentially the goal is for you to tell me like what to type. But you know, if you can't, if you're not all the way there, you can tell me like what you're thinking, if you have like a rough idea, like anything.
Uh, okay, then. So, would you?
You can just like spitball, like, you know, you can be wrong, like it's okay.
Okay.
Like anything you're thinking of, like
Do you start with like return
You
and
can,
then
yeah. Hmm.
uh, would you put
Uh-huh.
in the substring?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, let's see. So for string A, what would you want your indexes to be for the substring? If you want to, like, just take out the first character of the string.
A.
Yeah. So like, so do you know how to use the substring method?
Would you do like a dot substring
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
parentheses?
Yeah, yeah. So, uh-huh. You got it.
Is it like a dot length or
So you're close. So substring, the way substring works, so it's a string method, right? And so if you have like, oh, I don't have my mouse, so this will be tough. Okay, so if this is my string, right? Hello.
yeah?
So you know every string uses indexes, right? So these numbers I'm writing on top are the indexes in the string, and the indexes are just like numbers that like keep track of like the place in the string. So like H is index 0, E is index 1, so on and so forth.
Okay. Wait,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
no,
yeah.
you would no, I remember. So you would do 1, 8 dot length
Exactly.
parentheses, and then you would close the outer one, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, just like
And
that.
then you would do for the second one, you would do plus it would
Uh-huh.
be dot substring
Uh-huh.
1, B dot length, and then parentheses, and then close it, and then yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. Nice. Perfect. And just like a little handy tip for the substring method, you can put in two numbers, but you can also put in one number. So um, like let's say write like substring. I won't write the whole name out, but like parentheses. So you can put in two numbers, like the start index and then like the end index. Or you can also do one number, right? And then if you put in one number, this is just the start index, and then it'll go into the end of the string. So technically, since we want to go to the end of the string for both of these, we could just say like a dot substring one, and then b dot substring one, and then it would work. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
perfect, nice. Okay, Press, can you help me with left two?
Actually, I didn't get to this one.
Okay, that's perfect. We can go through it together. So yeah, yeah. You know, talk me
Um,
through it. Talk me through what you're thinking.
so have string.
You got it.
You have string characters equals substring the first two, and
Wait,
then
okay. String char equals substring 02.
yeah,
Okay.
um and then string
Uh-huh.
original equals substring of the string length minus 2, and then
So what is what is the original?
no, um substring of string length minus 2 and string length.
Okay. Well, technically it's the same thing because it goes to the end.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
and then string answer equals
Uh-huh.
characters plus original, and then return answer.
Original. Like that.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good try. So let's see. Let's see what the issue is. Interesting. Okay. So what were you trying to do? So let's see. If this is our string, so you're saying that original, so characters is this, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And then original is this,
Yeah.
and then you're trying to do
Oh yeah. Just reverse original and characters.
okay, so original plus like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're a little closer, but it looks like we are missing. Looks like we're a little off. 4, 5. Okay, so you're really close. You have the right idea, but I think the problem is in this original. So you want the original string to be like the rest of the string after the first two letters, right?
Yeah.
So since the number that goes here, the index here is supposed to be like, what's the number supposed to be? Like this number is wrong. It's not length minus 2. Because length minus 2, substring length minus 2 will give you the last two characters inside the string. That's not what you want. You want like index 2 to the end of the string,
Mm,
right? Like if our string is like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? We want this, right? That's what we want. But right now, we're getting this.
oh yeah. So you just put for the substring 2.
Exactly, right? It's just 2. Like that. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Okay. And then Brian, can you help me with right too?
Return
Okay.
um we do substring
Mhm.
uh then parentheses length
Okay.
and then uh -2
Okay.
uh
You got it.
uh -2 and comma length
Okay. Again, it's the same thing, right? Because if you only put in one number in the substring, it goes until the end.
uh
Yeah.
so length
Wait, like,
um
mhm.
uh, then plus substring
Mhm. You got it.
uh,
You're so close.
uh 0
Uh-huh.
uh and then length and then parentheses -2 and then end.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Got it. Nice. Okay, perfect, guys. So that was the string homework. And then we'll do array. So I believe array was the second row of 3 problems. So, okay, so in the same order, Christian, you help me with common end, Bryce, sum 3, Brian, rotate left 3. Okay, so Christian, let's do common end. Yeah.
uh, return,
Okay.
and then a bracket
Okay.
0,
Okay.
uh, two equal sign,
Mhm.
b bracket 0,
Mhm. Okay.
uh, I guess that like yeah, okay. So the two vertical
Lines, right? This one.
bar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What does that mean?
And
Can you tell me?
then yeah, is it a bracket -1 and uh equals
Is that
twice?
it's actually not -1. It's a dot length. But you're trying to go for the last thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dot length minus 1. Um,
Oh, okay.
does that make
Um,
sense?
yeah. So it's that space and then you subtract that one. Okay. The is it you were taking out the last one or
It's because if you have like, so I'll say this is A and this is B, and then I'll say like, so this is A, and then B will be like this. So A's length is 4, right? And
yeah.
B's length is 3. So you can like these are the indexes, right? This is index 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 0, 1, 2. So we want to check if the first one is the same or if the last one is the same, right? So the first one is always index 0. You just have to compare the index zeros to each other. But for the last one, since A and B, like the arrays can be like different lengths, right? We don't know how long they are. So like how are we always going to get the number at the very last index? It's going to be the length, right? Minus 1. Because you can see, because indexes always start from 0. So here, in index in array A, the last index is length minus 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3, right? And then in array B, the last index is 2 because it's 3 minus 1. So the formula for the last index is always the length minus 1, which
Okay.
is why, yeah, yeah.
Then with that, you would do double equal sign and then B
Mhm,
brackets B length
mhm.
-1.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. And then can you tell me what this double vertical bars mean?
Don't they mean like both of them? Like it's like it's gonna be like it's like boolean. It's yeah, it's it like
Take your time.
changes it to like a true statement.
So kind of, but I think I got it mixed up. So there's there's and there's or. So if I have two things here, so these are both Boolean expressions, right? So let's say A is a statement and B is a statement, right? A is like my name is Solomon, and B is like your name is Christian. So if I say like some blah 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 and blah blah blah, this will return true if and only if A is true and B is true. So if I say return true if my name is Solomon and your name is Christian, then it returns true. But if one of these or both of these is false, like my name is Solomon and your name is Chelsea, right? Then it returns false. So and only returns true if A and B are both true. On the other hand, and looks like this. It's like the two ampersands in Java, right? Or returns true if only one of the things has to be true, right? So if my name is Solomon or your name is Christian, it returns true because both of them are true. If my name is Solomon or your name is Chelsea, it still returns true because like one of them is true, like A is true, right? My name is Solomon. Or I could say like if my name is Chelsea and or your name is Christian, then it returns true because like B is still true, right? So for or, just one of them has to be true, and then it returns true. But if both are false, it returns false. And in Java, or is the two vertical lines, right? So right here they're saying, given two in arrays, return true if they have the same first element or they have the same last element. So over here we check if they have the same first element or they have the same last element, right? That's why you use the two vertical lines because it's or. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Wait, oops. Okay. Bryce, can you help me with sum 3?
Uh, so
Uh-huh.
integer sum equals nums 0 in brackets plus nums 1 in brackets plus nums 2 in brackets and return sum.
Perfect. I'm actually gonna give you a challenge question. How can I combine this code into one line?
Return just copy the thing that
This,
the stuff and then just put it in return.
like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Nice. We actually want to check. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, nice. Okay, and then Brian, can you help me with this last one? Rotate left 3.
You do integer
Mm-hmm.
and then brackets,
Mm-hmm.
rotated equals,
Mm-hmm.
in the, you do, nums, side brackets 1,
Okay.
nums, 2,
Wait, comma?
yeah,
Oh, wait, so you want me to put these in curly brackets?
yeah,
Okay.
and then nums 0,
Okay.
and then end bracket, and then
Okay.
return rotated.
Yeah, perfect. Nice. Yeah, nice. Okay, perfect, guys. So we're actually like right on schedule. And you guys seem to be doing very well with the coding lab, which is good to see. Okay, so next up, since we covered the homework, we're gonna move on to today's content. So Christian, have you learned array lists? Okay, okay, so then I'll go ahead and teach array lists. So this will be super quick, 5 minutes max. You guys just have to know these because this shows up in the hacker rank, right? So what is an array list? It's a new data structure. So up until now, you guys have only learned one data structure, and that's the array, right? You guys have learned primitive data types, right? Data types, right? And you guys have learned 5 data types so far, right? Strings, characters. Why am I writing these out? I'm gonna type these. Okay, so you guys have learned primitive data types, which are strings, characters, doubles, integers, and booleans, right? But aside from data types, we have also learned data structures, right? Which combine data types. And so far, the only data structures you've learned are arrays, right? So we learned 5 primitive data types and 1 data structure. You're now going to learn your second data structure today, which are array lists, right? And so what are array lists? So if you kind of visualize what an array looks like in Java, right? It's just this rectangular box with a bunch of stuff, right? And this, it can hold whatever data type you want it to hold. An array list is basically an array, except you can control its length. So you can add stuff to it. You can like take stuff out, like you can remove stuff. It's basically like a changeable array. So that's why it's like pretty cool. And it becomes pretty important when you want to do like complicated coding problems. So first things first, right? The most important thing, how do you make an array list in Java? So you're gonna have to remember how to do this. The format goes like this: array list, and then you actually use the little arrows, right? And then you have to pick a data type of the 5 data types we learned, right? So I'll pick integer, and then you have to name it. So I'll name it list equals new array list. And then at this point, it's just the same thing, right? So it's just array list integer in the little arrows, name equals new, and then same thing as the left side, array list integer. Make sure you finish with parentheses. Okay, so if you ever like are coding in Eclipse and you see this red arrow, this is probably because you haven't imported. So just go ahead and import up top. You don't have to understand like what that means as of now, just so you know. Okay, so now we have our list. Now if you guys remember, whenever we make an array in Java, right? So go ahead and draw my array. Let's say I make an array of length 3, right? And I make it an integer array. Bryce, can you tell me what the array would be filled with?
Mm,
If it's an integer array of length 3, and I just made it, what would be inside the array? If I were to like print it out and look at it, what would it be filled with?
0, I don't know.
Exactly, yeah, you're right. You're actually right. It'll be filled with 0, right? Like primitive data types in Java all have like a default value. So like when you make it like an array with them and you haven't like actually set the values to anything, they'll just like default to like these values, right? So for integers, it's 0. For doubles, it's 0.0. For strings, it's null. For characters, it's like literally nothing. And then for booleans, it's false, right? Those are important to keep in mind. So whenever you make an array, because you like have to set the length to something and you can't change the length, like let's say you make a length 3 array, it's just gonna fill it with like zeros, right? But over here, we make an array list. And when you make an array list at first, because you can like change the length and stuff, it doesn't start out like with like zeros inside. It literally is like nothing. Like there's like no empty containers. There's like no containers at all, right? And then once you add stuff, you can like start adding stuff to it, right? Like that, right? So that's the difference. Because you can add stuff to it, like there's no empty containers at the beginning. There's literally like nothing. So the most basic like methods you need to know for an array list, one is add, right? The add method. So you say like the name of the array list. So like in this case is list dot add, right? And then because it's an integer array list, I have to add like a number, right? So I can say add 10, list dot add 20, list dot add like 536, right? Like that. And then now if I go ahead and print out the array list, I just say print the list, you can go ahead and see that the list now has these 3 numbers, right? Second most important method you need to know is remove, right? Just like you can add stuff to an array list, you can also remove stuff from an array list. So if I say list dot remove 0, remove removes by index. So if I put 0 in the parentheses, it's going to remove the thing at index 0. So Christian, can you tell me what that would be?
10.
Perfect. So if I were to print out this array list now, which I will do, what's going to print?
It's gonna print 20 and 536.
Okay, so one more question. What happens if I say list dot remove? What happens if I do this? Then what will print when I print this?
Would it only be like the last segment? Like, would it
Well,
only
uh-huh. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, I think it would only be like 536.
536. Interesting. So you're actually close. That's going to be 20, right? So this is our original list. Um, once we remove at index 0, right? It removes a 10. So now we have 20 and 536. And now we remove at index 1. So once we have this, we actually remove the second one. So that's why we're left with 20 at the very end. And so yeah, so it's just important to keep in mind, add, remove. And then the last thing is size. So up to now, we've learned two different ways of getting the length of something, right? So for strings, string str equals hello, right? If I asked you how to tell me how long this is, Brian, how would you get how long the string is?
Um,
Hmm. You got it. So there's a string method we learned to grab the length of a string.
I don't know.
Okay. Christian, you wanna help him out?
Is it like string length?
Exactly, yeah. String dot length, right? But you have to put parentheses at the end for strings. Yeah, so this is how you get the length of a string, right? The length method. Make sure you have parentheses at the end. For an array, if I have a string array, right? Like that. Um, how do I get the length of this, Bryce?
Um, which one?
The array.
I don't know.
Okay, so Christian, do you know this one?
Uh, the what was the question?
How do you get the length of this array? There's a method. Not a
Uh,
method, but yeah.
does it have to do something with like the dot length thing?
Yeah, so it actually is array.length. But the difference is for arrays, there's no parentheses, right?
Oh,
For the string, the dot length does have parentheses, but for the array, it's just dot length without parentheses, right? Now the third thing you're gonna learn is that for array lists, um, it's dot size parentheses. So I know it's complicated. There's like three different ones. It's stupid, I know. You just have to know this. For strings, it's dot length parentheses. For arrays, it's dot length no parentheses. For array lists, it's dot size parentheses. You just have to memorize that, right? So we can go ahead and print everything, right? So yeah, that's pretty much all you have to know. And then honestly, I'd probably say that's it, right? If there's other methods, as you know, you can look them up as they come and go. But those are like the three essential array methods that you need to know. And also keep in mind, because array lists are basically arrays, but you can like change their length. You can also use like a for loop to, oh, there you go. You can also use a for loop for an array list. The difference is, okay, so this is actually really important. Thank God I did not forget about this. Okay, so let's say I have an array. This is my array, right? Let's say I have a array list. This is my array list. Okay, so we all know that these are indexes 0, 1, and 2, right? For both of them. Okay, so if I want to look at this thing, right? I would say array bracket 0, array bracket 1, array bracket 2. For lists, you don't use brackets. You actually use getters and setters. So there's a get method and a set method. So what does that mean? So that means if I want to change, let's actually make an array list, right? So we have our array list here. I'm gonna go ahead and not remove anything. So if we go ahead and print out our array list right now, there's three numbers inside of it, 10, 20, and 536, right? If I want to change the 10 into 100, if it was an array, I would say like list and then bracket 0 equals 100, right? That's for an array. For an array list, you have to say list dot set, and then it's a method. So there's two numbers that go in the method. The first number is the index, so 0, index 0, because 10 is at index 0, and then what you want to change it to. So what you want to set it to. So I want to set it to 100, like that. And then if I print list now, it's going to print 100, 20, 536, right? So fourth important method is set. And the last important method is get, right? And get is like, let's say I want to print out like let's say I want to print out array at 0, right? If I want to print out the index 0 of a list or any index of a list, I can't just say like list at 0, like with brackets. I have to say list.get 0. So just like how I would say like print array bracket 0, right? To print the first number in the array, I have to say I cannot say list bracket 0. I have to say list.get. And then in the parentheses, you put the index. So in this case, 0, like that. So those are the key differences between array list and array. For array, you can use like bracket, like index and stuff. For list, it's methods. So if you want to like get something, you have to use .get. If you want to like set it to something, you have to use .set. The length method is .size. And then there's an add method and a remove method. And that's honestly all you're going to need for array lists, right? These are like the 5 basic methods. Okay, any questions? Okay. That's pretty good. I'm sure questions will come up as you guys do problems, but that's honestly okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is, Brian, go ahead and go to HackerRank. So let me share my screen. Okay, so HackerRank is, oh my gosh, that is so annoying. Hang on. This is HackerRank. This. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll link this to you in a second, Christian. So for Bryce and Brian, I want you to log on to HackerRank, go to the problem solving category, and I want you to do simple array sum. So where is that? Simple array sum should be, yeah, should be this one. I'll link it to you guys. Open copy link address. Okay. So I just sent it in the Zoom chat. And then for you, Christian, I'm going to send you the website link. Actually, okay. Christian, I sent the sign up link in the Zoom chat. Once you sign up, let me know. Because you're gonna have to like share your screen because it's like a few like weird things you're gonna have to get past. But yeah, go ahead and log in and then let me know if you finish that. And then for you guys, I want you to do simple array sum. And then once we finish simple array sum, we can go on break. Yeah. What the heck?
Okay, so I made an account and like I am on a page like step one, I am here to
Yeah,
prepare for
yeah.
yeah.
Can you share your screen? And then we'll just go through this together.
Yeah. Uh so actually the problem with my computer lately is that I have not been able to like share my screen and like on Zoom.
Hmm.
So is it like
What's the error you're getting?
huh?
What's the error you're getting? Like specifically for Zoom when you try to share your screen?
Oh, it just doesn't work. When I press share, like it doesn't mention an error. It just like cuts and like no one sees anything.
Oh, okay. Um, okay, then for the questions, just say you're a developer, like you're a student, put in like your graduation year or whatever, like you're not here for like jobs. Um, like
Okay.
yeah. And then once you get past all that, let me know.
All right. Yeah. So I'm on like a screen where it's like prepare. It says like
Yeah,
confirm.
yeah.
Like that.
So
Yeah.
uh there should be like Java in one in that section. Do you see Java?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you click Java?
Okay.
Okay, so wait, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so I don't know why, but it's like a little it's different for me compared to like my thing's a little different, but regardless, yeah, so prepare by topics, so Java. So for me, I have Java up here and I also have problem solving. So I don't think you have problem solving, which is like normal because nobody else did. I'm gonna go ahead and link the problem solving category to you. Um, Keep this page, like it's gonna be important because we're gonna do a lot of problem solving like problems. So do you see like this page?
Y- Yes.
Okay, so I want you to go to click simple array sum.
Okay. That's the first
Uh,
one, right? The problem solving.
yes,
Okay.
this one. Okay, so the way HackerRank works is on the left side of your screen is like the question and like the sample input, sample output. It's where they explain everything.
Okay.
And then on the right side of your screen is like where you the text editor where you're actually coding. So like you're just gonna like read the problem like once you understand everything and once you understand the input output, you're gonna write your code inside the method, or whatever method, like whatever it's called. You're gonna write your code inside here. And then once you're done, once you want to like test your code, at the bottom right, you see two buttons like run code, submit code. run code only runs your code against like sample input output, like the sample case. If you want to actually like run your code in order to like pass the problem, your code has to work for the sample case and all the test cases. Unfortunately, they do not tell you any of the inputs or the outputs for the test cases. You only know if you like if your code works or it doesn't work for them. So like you have to submit code and everything has to pass if you want to pass the problem, right? And then just keep in mind that like your code does not save if you hit run code. It only saves when you hit submit code, right? So just know that like, so if you're like writing your code and you're like, oh, I want to do like a quick test to see if this works, you can hit like run code. If you're like done coding, you think, okay, I think this is the right answer. Hit submit code to test it against everything. Just make sure you hit submit code to save. Submit is like save basically. So yeah, that's basically it. So go ahead and try this problem here. Let me know if you have any questions, guys, as usual. Yeah, I'll give you guys some time to finish the problem. Let me know when you finish. Like, please message me when you finish, so I don't have to wait here like forever. Or if you have any questions, like yeah, of course, like just like feel free to ask. Yeah, so go ahead. Can you hear me, Brian? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, Brian just messaged me if you can or can't hear me.
I could hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah. So work on the diagram difference.
The problem is diagonal difference.
Yeah. Do you see it? Okay, perfect. Okay. It just occurred to me, Christian, have you learned about 2D arrays?
What?
Have you learned about 2D arrays?
Uh, n no.
Okay. Um,
I mean, I might have learned it and I just forgot, but
okay. We'll do like a quick 1 minute crash course. Because you kind of need to know that for this problem. So basically, I'll draw this out. So this goes for both arrays and array lists. I'll say for array lists since this problem uses an array list. So you have an array list. A one-dimensional array list looks like this, right? This is index 0, 1, 2, 3. You can have a two-dimensional array list, right? And that basically means that in each index of this array list, you have another array list like that. So that's why it's like a two-dimensional array list. Hang on.
so it overlaps into the first one?
Yeah. Wait, how do I get rid of this? Do you guys see this notification? Like
Notify?
the Apple ID, like the text message thing?
No.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. It doesn't overlap into it. It's that like in each index, like it holds an array list. So it actually kind of looks more like a grid. So like it kind of looks more like this. So it's like this. So it's like index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. And then it's like each of these also has its own index 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. So this is like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. So think of it like an XY plane almost, right? So to be more specific, if this is my original array list, right? 0, 1, 2, it's like I have an array list in each like spot, if that makes sense. So it kind of looks like this.
So it's like an array list that has different array lists within the indexes.
Exactly, yeah. It's an array list of array lists. Exactly. So that's what a 2D array list is. That's why in the parameter you see list, and then inside the little arrows, it says list, and then it says data type. It's because it's an array list of integers. So it's a 2D array list basically. So it looks like this. And the way you like loop through this is by yeah, you need two for loops. You need a nested for loop, right? So one for loop is gonna go like this, right, through the actual array list. And then the second for loop is gonna have to go like this through each individual array list like that. So if I use a different color, so you need your first array list to go through you need your first for loop to go through the actual array list. And then you need your second for loop to go through each individual array list. So I'll call this 2, right? Like that. So that's how you loop through this, right? And then the way you want to get the diagonals is it's a square, right? So it's going to be like they said it's a square matrix, so it's going to look like this, right? So the way you want to calculate the diagonal sum is like you want to like compare each of your indexes, right? Since you're using a nested for loop, you're going to have two counters, right? You're going to have an I counter, right? That's like your big for loop, your horizontal for loop. And then you're gonna have a J counter, right? That's your vertical individual array list counter. So you want to check if you're on a diagonal, right? If you're on this diagonal, which is like if I is equal to J, then you know you're on the diagonal and you want to like add it to your sum or whatever. You also want to check, I'll use a different color, if you're on this diagonal, right? The green diagonal, which is the other diagonal. For this, the formula is like if like let's see, if like I is equal to size minus j or something like that. You can figure it out, right? I haven't like figured it out, but if you like literally just look at it, um, if you like make like an array list yourself, like look at it. We'll go through it together as a class later, but you can like figure out the pattern, right? If you just check if you're on the diagonal, and then if you're on this diagonal, then you just have to add it to your sum for that diagonal. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say without giving out the answer. Yeah, get to work, guys. You got it. If you, we'll go over it together as a class in like 10 minutes. So just work on it for 10 minutes. If you get it, let me know. It's really impressive if you do. So yeah.
I have a question on uh
Yes.
like the get thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
for
the
sure.
get so is it possible to uh to do something like AR dot get I dot get J and then a semicolon?
Yes, yes. You can do that. You can like chain them together because it's a 2D array list, right? So it's an array list of array lists. So if you say array list dot get I, um, whatever is at index I is an array list. So array list dot get I will give you an array list, and then dot get J will give you the number at that array list. So you can do that. Yeah. Yeah, great question.
You can also like chain can you chain like size uh get and also actually yeah just size and get, can you chain those together?
Like put the size inside the get, you mean?
uh
Or like how specifically?
so it a r dot get I dot size would
Yeah, you
count.
can do that. Yeah. Because AR dot get something, right? It's an array list of arrays. So dot get index will give you that the array list at that index, and then dot size will give you the size of that array list.
Okay.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. Right. catching on very quickly.
Uh, I got it.
Perfect, nice. We'll go over it as a class in a few minutes. Bryce, how's it going for you? Bryce. Oh, sorry. You're like, yeah.
Working on it.
Okay, Brian, what about you?
I'm working on it.
Okay, perfect. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. Okay. Status check. Uh, Bryce first. How's it going for you?
I'm still working on it.
Are you like stuck or you like troubleshooting or?
Yeah, so
Okay. Um, Brian, what about you?
I just finished.
Just finished? Okay, perfect. Um, okay, so why don't we go through this as a class? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so the problem is like the concept is straightforward, right? But it's a little tricky. It's not tricky. It's just like you really have to make sure you like don't make any mistakes, right? Because there's a lot of steps to it. So they basically give you a square 2D array list, like on the left, right? Which means the length and width will be the same, and they want you to return the difference in the diagonal sums. So, um, basically, like whatever. Oh my gosh. whatever like size 2D array list they give you, your job is to calculate this diagonal sum and this diagonal sum, and return the difference, right? So if I just go ahead and shade in these squares, right? So it's actually a cool way of showing it. So like our red squares and blue squares will each like be the different diagonals. We also have purple squares, right? And these purple squares are going to be these these two overlap squares, right? So in this case, actually, in this case, there aren't any. Let's make this a 3x3 to make this easier to understand. So if our 2D array list is a 3x3, we have one diagonal going this way, right? And we have one diagonal going this way. Right? And then any squares that overlap are going to be like, we'll just color them purple. So we have to add up all the squares in this diagonal, and we have to add up all the squares in this diagonal, right? And if the square is purple, that means we have to add it to each diagonal sum. So yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to it, right? So first we need to create a double for loop. So we'll say for int I equals 0, right? And so remember how do we loop through a 2D structure? Our first loop has to go this. That is a terrible color choice. Our first loop has to go this way, right? And then our second loop has to go this way. So our first loop will go like horizontally, let's say. So for int I equals 0, I is less than array.size, and then I plus plus, right? And then our second loop has to go through vertically, checking each array list at those indexes. So we'll use a second for loop. So for int j equals 0, j is less than array at I, array dot get I dot size, and then j plus plus. Technically, you don't have to do it this way because we know it's a square 2D array. We can just say array.get, array.size, right? Because we know that whichever column we pick to check for the size for the J loop, right? We know it's all going to be the same, right? Those lengths will be the same as this like overall horizontal length, so it doesn't matter. So we'll just keep it like this. So now let's check for the red diagonal. So we just have to check if we're on the red diagonal, right? So how do we check if we're on the red diagonal? Well, if we're on the red diagonal, I'm just going to draw some indexes out. So our I index goes horizontally, right at the top, and the J index goes vertically, right? I drew that on the left. So if I equals J, so like 0, 0, right? Or 1, 1, or 2, 2, that means we're on the red diagonal. And if we're on the red diagonal, we just have to add it to a sum, right? That we're keeping track of. So actually, I'll do that up top. So I'll say int red equals 0, blue equals 0. So if I is equal to j, that means we're on the red diagonal. So in that case, I'll just add red plus equals. And then how do we get the number we're at, we have to say, so if it was an array, we would say array and then bracket like I bracket j. Unfortunately, it's an array list, so we have to say array dot get I. So dot get I will put us in the correct column, right? So like we're going along horizontally with our I counter, and then boom. Let's say I equals 1 is where we want to be. So we've hit the correct column, and then we have to say dot get j. Dot get j. So dot get j will basically say, okay, we're at the correct array list column. So now we have to go, we're going down vertically, boom, 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 boom. Okay, boom. We're at this like correct like middle square, right? So that's what dot get I, dot get j does, right? Okay, so now once we're done with this double for loop, we have our correct red sum. Now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing for the blue. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy paste this. So the loop, the I and the loop, the I and the j will be the same, right? Because we still need to go through every single square. However, the difference is this time we're not checking if I equals j. So we need to check if we're on the blue diagonal. And the way we check if we're on the blue diagonal is if I plus j plus 1 is equal to array dot size. And why is that? Well, I think the easiest way to understand this is to like actually make up an example array and try yourself, right? So here array dot size is equal to 3, right? Because it's like 3 long horizontally, right? So size is equal to 3, and we can tell we're on the blue diagonal because like this top right square, the I comma j coordinate, right, is 2 comma 0, right? This middle square here, the purple square, the I comma j coordinate is 1 1, and this bottom left square, the I comma j coordinate is 0 2, right? And I hope you kind of see a pattern here, right? All the blue diagonal squares are gonna be like, you see the pattern is like the coordinates, if you add them together, right? 2 0 1 1 0 2, they're all gonna equal the size minus 1 because the size is 3. So like 2 plus 0 is 2, 1 plus 1 is 2, 0 plus 2 is 2, right? They're all equal to the size minus 1. And so in other words, I plus j is equal to size minus 1, or I plus j plus 1 is equal to size, right? So that's like the power of drawing pictures and like doing stuff like scribbling stuff around, like creating example problems for you to like solve yourself, right? You can like see like you can create these like formulas, right? So this is a really important skill, especially when it comes to like competitive coding. So I just wanted to show you guys that's something you can do. So if I plus j plus 1 equals array dot size, we know we're on the blue diagonal. So in this case, we just have to add it to blue like that. So blue plus equals array dot get I dot get j. So once we're done with this double nested for
I
loop,
have a question.
yeah.
Do you have to have that for loop written like twice, or
No, you can definitely do it like combined in one. I just thought this is like the easiest way to the clearest way to like show it.
oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. The first time I like solved this, um, technically I did it in a single like nested for loop, but it gets like a lot messier. I think this is like the easiest way to show it, right? So once we finish this second nested for loop, we've added red and we've added blue. So now all we need to do is return the absolute difference, right? So say int answer is equal to, and we learned that we can take the absolute difference of two numbers by doing the math.max, the math.absolute method. And in the parentheses has to go a number. So we'll say this number is going to be the difference between red and blue. So red minus blue. And math.abs will give us the absolute value. So if this is negative, it'll return the positive value, the positive version. And then we just have to return answer. So let's go ahead and test this. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and submit this. Perfect. So yeah, this is how you do diagonal difference. There's actually a bunch of different ways to do this. This is actually my favorite way just because it's so simple and like you can really like visualize what's happening, right? Technically, if you really wanted to like uh make your like thing short, you can do this all in like one for loop, I think. But it gets messy. And you don't want to do it that way, right? Short code is cool, but clear code is best, right? So yeah, this was diagonal difference. So yeah, so I hope you guys like see like honestly as the problems get more complicated, they get harder, but in my opinion, they also get more fun, right? I honestly think like these problems are fun. These hacker rank problems are pretty fun because like you can really test like how good you are, at like solving these problems, right? It's like fun seeing like can you do this, like can you not do it? As you like solve these, right? It's pretty rewarding. So yeah, so technically we did have one more problem scheduled today. We had plus minus, but we can move that to next class. Did not get to this. Okay, so yeah, we'll just move out to next class. Your homework is going to be some coding map problems. I'll post it in the Discord chat as soon as class is over. Yeah, and that's basically it. If you guys don't have any questions, thank you guys so much for coming today. Homework will be posted. Yeah, thanks guys so much. I'll see you guys next week. And Happy
Thank
New Year's.
you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.